Hey, what's going on everybody, and welcome back. So in this video we're going to be talking about religion during the Gilded Age. In the fall of 1880, Rutherford B. Hayes became the first sitting U.S. president to tour the U.S. West. While rarely recognized as such in scholarship, Hayes was a culture warrior. His 21-day, 2,500-mile tour of the West traced the spiritual battle lines of the politics of empire in the Gilded Age. On his journey, the president explicitly and implicitly championed his answers to the Indian question, school question, Mormon question, and Chinese question. These Western positions established a Republican culture war program with deeply religious overtones that animated U.S. politics for over a decade and continues to resonate today. In 1871, the Chicago evangelist Dwight L. Moody met with gospel singer Ira Sankey at a religious meeting in Ohio. Moody immediately recruited Sankey to his cause. Together, the two found widespread popularity touring Europe and the United States in search of converts to a new fundamentalist faith. Many critics found Moody sentimental and lacking in intellectual rigor, but he has become one of the Gilded Age's leading religious figures. Moody's evangelism reflected a larger trend in the American Protestantism that had dominated the American North since the earliest days of the Republic. Rejecting Calvinist notions of original sin and predestination, Moody's message emphasized individual salvation through what he called the 3 R's: ruin by sin, redemption by Christ, and regeneration by the Holy Ghost. Believing in a premillennial theology, holding that the world will come to an end after a period of apocalyptic turmoil in which the unconverted are decimated by disasters and hardships occurring before Christ's second coming and the beginning of an earthly millennium. Moody served as the predecessor of 20th and 21st century Protestant fundamentalists. The Civil War was preceded and followed in the United States by a period of religious revival known as the Third Great Awakening. In turn, the largely Protestant awakening spawned the social gospel, which directed attention to the problems of the slums in the large cities by applying what proponents called Christian ethics to what they believed were the true causes of the squalid living conditions: alcohol, crime, inadequate and unequal distribution of wealth, poor schools, and so on. Preachers of the social gospel aligned themselves with the temperance movement, the suffragist movement, and other groups bent on social reform, including socialists and anarchisms. Religion in the United States during the Gilded Age and Progressive Era emphasizing 2 major themes. The first is that due to increased immigration from regions like Eastern and Southern Europe and Asia, as well as to America expansion into Latin America, the Pacific, and the American West, the late 19th and early 20th centuries saw a rapid rise in religious diversity in the United States. The second is that due to pluralism, Americans in the South, North, and West dealt with this diversity in a variety of ways. Some Americans exhibited intolerance, others sought assimilation, and in some cases, Americans groped towards the notion of religious pluralism. The Third Great Awakening which began before the Civil War, returned and made a significant change in religious attitudes towards social progress. Followers of the New Awakening promoted the idea of the social gospel, which gave rise to organizations such as the YMCA, the American branch of the Salvation Army, and the settlement houses such as the Hull House, founded by Jane Addams in Chicago in 1889. The Third Great Awakening was a period of religious activism in the American history from the late 1850s to the 20th centuries. It affected Protestant denominations and had a strong sense of social activism. It gathered strength from the post-millennial theology that the second coming of Christ would come after mankind had reformed the entire earth. The social gospel movement gained its force from the awakening, as did the worldwide missionary movement. New groups emerged, such as the Holiness Movement and the Nazarene Movement and Christian Science. The mainline Protestant denomination, especially the Methodist, Episcopal, Presbyterian, and Congregational churches, grew rapidly in numbers, wealth, and educational levels, throwing off their frontier beginnings and becoming centered in towns and cities. Leaders such as Josiah Strong advocated a muscular Christianity with systematic outreach to the unchurched in America and around the globe. Others built colleges and universities to train the next generation. Each denomination supported active missionary societies and made the role of missionary one of the high prestige. The great majority of Pislitic mainline Protestants in the North supported the Republican Party and urged it to endorse prohibition and social reforms. The awakening in numerous cities in 1858 was interrupted by the American Civil War. In the South, on the other hand, the Civil War stimulated revivals and strengthened the Baptists especially. After the war, Dwight L. Moody made revivalism the centerpiece of his activities in Chicago by founding the Moody Bible Institution. The hymns of Ira Sankey were especially influential. Across the nation, Dries crusaded in the name of religion for the prohibition of alcohol. The Women's Church Temperance Union mobilized Protestant women for social crusades against not only liquor, but also pornography and prostitution, and sparked the demand for women's suffrage. The Gilded Age plutocracy came under harsh attacks from the social gospel preachers and reformers in the progressive era, who became involved with issues of child labor, compulsory education, and the protection of women from exploitation in factories. All the major denominations sponsored growing missionary activities inside the United States and around the world. Colleges associated with churches rapidly expanded in numbers, size, and quality of curriculum. The promotion of muscular Christianity became very popular among young men on campus and in urban YMCAs, as well as such denominational youth groups such as Epworth League for Methodists and the Walther League for Lutherans. Now, even during the Gilded Age, religious groups had a lot of political influence with the government, and that is something that is still resonating today with Trump's second administration in office, and how the Heritage Foundation, which is a religious group, is pushing a lot of their policies into play. Now, I do want to thank everybody for checking out this video. And if you will please hit the subscribe button down below and like this video to help with the algorithm.